Ladies and gents, welcome to the latest episode of 5v4 Introducers. This week, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by D'Italiano. Thank you for joining me, bud.
Hey, how's it going, 5V, man? Happy to do it, bro.
Oh, we've talked about this one for a little while, haven't we? It's just been a bit of a logistical
Yeah.
nightmare.
No, yeah, we're all good, man. Hey, we got here.
We did. So I thought what we'd do is I've got a few little questions prepared and stuff, a bit about kind of you growing
Awesome.
up, about Twitch, Knicks Film School and the Pregame Show and stuff like that. And then to finish off, given you are a massive Knicks fan, as I can tell by the hoodie, I've got five
Yes,
Knicks
sir.
trivia questions to
Oh
test your
God.
knowledge. I think for a seasoned Knicks fan, I think these should be pretty straightforward, but we'll see.
Okay.
So,
Giving me the Mike Breen treatment.
if only there's some sound bites as good as his, man. So, you grew up in Long Island, is that right?
That is right. Yeah, that's where I was. I was where I was born. That's where the family comes from. I didn't get to stay there that long. We were only there till I was about 8 or 9 years old. Before we moved down to Virginia. So that's kind of where I mostly grew up, but still had family, a lot of family up in the New York area, in Long
Mhm.
Island, stuff like that. So that's kind of where I get, a lot of my connections, a lot of my definitely my sports fandom comes from and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of where I started out.
Nice. So, do you remember much of being in New York and in that area?
Oh yeah, it's a pretty interesting place, Long Island, because it's different than New York City for sure.
Mhm.
Um, but folks, have a lot of the same vibes. And just Long Island itself is such a kind of weird place because it's so compact and crowded. Like there's no more room. Like you can't build new houses really in most of it.
Mhm.
It's as full as it's going to be. So it's just a lot of families that have been there a long time and have had different generations of family kind of just kind of growing up on top of each other like that. So you got a lot of cousins around the corner. You kind of it's not weird if you have a couple different families and a couple different houses around the block from each other. But it's a cool place. I mean, there's great pizza everywhere, so I certainly
Winning.
miss that about it. The further south I move, the harder that is to find. But yeah, it's an interesting place.
And now you're in Georgia, is that right?
Yes, sir. Savannah
So,
back on the coast.
so what prompted that move? So you moved from Long Island to Virginia, and now
Hmm.
it's kind of grown up, kind of settled, starting a family, which we'll talk about in a bit. But how did the move to Georgia come about?
Well, that was kind of work related, because obviously, being from Long Island, one of the parts of that kind of has always stuck with me. Going back and visiting grandparents and whatnot, is that you're real close to the beach. You're literally
Yeah.
on an island, so it's pretty easy to get to the beach. And then after that, once we were in Virginia, we took a lot of family vacations down to North Carolina, Outer Banks. So that was always our big family vacation.
Mhm.
Like we bring multiple layers of family, cousins, aunt and uncle. So we rent these big houses out on the beach. So always kind of been a beach family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So after spending a lot of times where we lived in Virginia was more inland, kind of in the mountains, really more than anything. So pretty far away from the beach. So once I kind of had an opportunity with work to come south, come to Georgia, and I kind of asked specifically, like, hey, would this position be viable for the person to be located in Savannah, since that's kind of the best coastal area of
Mhm.
Georgia? And they're like, yeah, by all means, it's remote. You can do what you need to do from there. So we were like kind of sight unseen. Let's go, let's check it out. Me and my wife, we had actually just recently gotten engaged right before we
Mhm.
moved down here. So we were like, yeah, we've been in Virginia a long time. She grew up in Virginia, spent her life in Virginia. We went to college in Virginia. So we were ready for a change,
Yeah.
just to see some different stuff. And the fact that it was by the water and that we had that opportunity to get back down kind of to a beachy vibe, we jumped all over it.
Yeah. So how long have you been in Georgia now?
Going on 4 years, which is crazy because it still feels like we just moved here. So it was like July 2017, I think, but that time has flown. Time has flown so fast. And like I think I just mentioned quick, but we had never been to Savannah before. We came down to look for a place to live. My work sent me down for a couple days to find somewhere to live. Like, we didn't know if we were going to rent. We didn't know if we were going to buy something. And this was the first time we've been here. We'd heard from some friends that it was a really cool place. We knew it was by the water. So we were like, all right, let's go check it out. And luckily, in the 2 days we were here, we found a house that we liked, and ended up just buying a house straight away. To come down here to live in this place where we didn't really know anybody. We've never been before. So it was a bit of a leap, but we're pretty happy with how it's turned out. It's been
no messing around, eh?
No,
straight in there. I like it. So do you think this is where kind of you'll be settled long term now?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that really. We're definitely we got some time left here for sure. We kind of got to we got a new adventure coming up in a few months with this baby on the way. So that might change some decisions for us. We have a little bit of family down here now. My wife's sister and parents actually kind of came down here with us in kind of separate amounts of time from after we got here. Her sister came down, relatively soon after we did, and then her parents have just come down here in the last little bit. So we got some family here now. So with a kiddo on the way, that'll be good to have some support close. But all of my family is still mostly in Virginia or in New York. So you never know. We'll see how it goes for a few years, and who knows, might be another move on the horizon. But for now, Savannah's great if you ever get a chance to come this way.
Yeah, there's bigger things than moving around now, isn't there? So how do you feel about being a dad?
Dude, I'm very excited. We're excited together, man. It's I'm in a big family of a lot of cousins. I think I probably have like 30 cousins altogether. I'm the oldest out of all of them. I was the first kid in this generation of cousins. So I've seen so many babies grow up and watch so many babies in my 30 years that, the idea of being around a baby doesn't worry me too much. It's definitely different when it's your kid and you can't really just always hand it off to somebody else, when things get hairy. But I'm the oldest of 5 siblings. So, I've been around little kids and stuff all my life. Yeah. I think I have a pretty good sense of it. And just to, take this next step is pretty exciting, man. We'll see how it impacts the stream. We might have to get on a little bit different schedule, but yeah, it's gonna be exciting. We got a couple months to start planning for it, but
yeah, it might be a little bit off the cuff and streaming as and when. But what are you most looking forward to about being a dad?
What am I most looking forward to? Probably like seeing what a kid gets interested in, like, if that makes sense. Like, how closely do they just follow in your footsteps, based on what you're doing? Do they kind of just say, well, screw that, and just go in their own direction? That's just so interesting to me to see, like, what molds a kid like that, like what decisions that you make, like what environmental stuff that they wind up in causes that. So just being able to see like someone's interest in something start from the very beginning, because like you don't really always remember why you like something, you know what I mean, like, or why you are the way that you are in some way. So just to get to be there from the inception of that for somebody, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see their little personalities kind of start to take shape, and you see the things that they get really passionate about, and the stuff that they're not too keen on. Like my 7-year-old will sit and watch TikTok videos all day if she was allowed.
Yeah.
And and randomly you'll just be sitting kind of or wandering through a shop and she'll start doing a TikTok dance. And it's like, okay. Like, and it's like, you don't want to kind of tell them, no, don't just randomly dance. Like, yeah, if you want to dance, go for it. Like, do your thing.
Do it.
Whatever makes you unique.
Exactly.
Is there any part you're nervous about?
Yeah, I'd say that, you just got to keep them. You got to keep on top of them at all times. That they got a mind of their own, and you can plan and whatnot, but you just got to have those hawk eyes, right? They're gonna if there's something that can go awry, they're gonna try to get into it. So, I think maybe you don't have to worry about that for a little while. You got those first couple years, maybe that, or maybe only like a year or 6 months, who knows? I don't know. But, that they're kind of immobile, and you can just put them somewhere and they're not going anywhere. But after that, just the idea of like, you gotta be on it. You gotta be Hawkeyes out there.
As soon as they can move on their own, it's amazing how they find everything that they shouldn't.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. All good though. But so you mentioned kind of about your family in Long Island and stuff like that. And obviously looking at your surname and your Twitch username. So do you have kind of obviously an Italian heritage as part of your family?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got Italian on both sides, my mom and dad's side. My dad's side, more so, mostly Italian on his side, and then I think half and half on my mom's side with Irish or something, I think.
Yeah.
Little German too, maybe. But yeah, for the most part, big Italian family, man. Just sauce and pasta and lasagna and meatballs and chicken cutlets and all that jazz. A lot of big dinners. Thankfully, my wife took the step to learn how to make sauce from my mom. So now she knows how to do it. She whipped up a batch this weekend that was, I had to give her credit, because I think it was her best one to date, and we got about 6 gallons of sauce sitting in the freezer now. So you do it once and you're good for a while.
I love it,
man. Definitely, the Italian heritage is definitely part of me, something I enjoy having in my background, and kind of vibing on that and living a bit of that lifestyle. I think I would be a lot different if I never left Long Island and was just left to stew in it up there. You know what I mean? Just because it's a lot more intense when you're up there all the time. But the fact that I got to get out of there and kind of experience some different ways of life the further south that I go here. I've really just been running away from winter. That's the biggest part of it. It's cold,
and taking all the best bits with you.
I think I leveled out a little bit. I'm not, guinea teas and gold chains all over the place, but I still, I love Sunday sauce. That's for sure.
I love it. That is brilliant. So your Twitch channel features a lot of Warzone, and to be fair, you're very good at it. But you've moved on to kind of playing a bit of 2K and PGA as well recently.
Yeah, that's been fun.
What prompted that?
I don't know. It was a great deal in the PlayStation Store. First of all, the game it's like 21, and it's on sale for like 20 bucks, $22, something like that right now. So jumped on that. But other than that, I started playing a good bit of golf in real life the past like 6 months or so, since kind of the end of last year, because you can still get around it on a nice day in December down here. So I've picked that up more so than I ever have before. Been having fun with that, the trials and tribulations of getting into golf really for the first time. So it was fun to jump on the game, and it's a fun game to play on stream because it's you're just playing at your own pace. It's not like even 2K where you got to keep playing. You can't really stop and hit pause all the time, especially if you're playing against other people. But the golf game, I mean, you hit your shot. If you want to stop and talk to someone in chat for 10 minutes, it's fine. You come right back, hit your next shot. So it's a good game for stream in that sense. And I was I was kind of getting into it last night. I had my whole golf get up on while I was playing PGA, had my club out, had my glove on, rocking the polo and stuff.
That's brilliant.
So it's a fun game to get into. But yeah, 2K, man, I did have a lot of fun kind of getting into the my team scene of that and the card collecting. Because I'd never really gotten into that before. It seems like you've played it a good bit, either I would imagine before this one.
Yeah.
But I just never really got into it before. I don't know why, but this year, just the way I don't know, the way they had it set up, it just clicked with me, and I was really kind of getting into collecting those cards and seeing what you got to do. The only thing I don't like about it, which is I guess a detriment, is I don't like playing other people online in it. Because I just feel like the game feels so much different than when you're just playing by yourself. Just like the timing and everything, it just frustrates me to no end. Like, how is that not going in? Like the line it's right there. I hit that, like, and it rims out 7 shots in a row. So
I've never played online.
Frustrates me to no end.
Never played online.
Yeah, dude, it's so hard. People are so good, and they'll have like the one player. Like I was trying to play this guy yesterday. He had like the dark matter Kobe. And he's like, that's 99. He's just dribbling all over the place. You can't stay in front of him. Playing defense is like, you're standing on a frozen lake in bare feet. You're just sliding all over the place. This guy does 3 spin moves and then he's dunking. There's nothing you can do about it. So I don't know. I can't do too much of that, but I like the single player stuff. I like trying to collect what cards you can, and I like that they give you those free codes every now and then.
Yeah, they definitely come in handy. What made you start streaming?
What did make me start streaming? I don't know, man. I kind of always like to have some kind of outlet like that, like just kind of some creative thing like that. Like going back 5-6 years, me and a couple buddies had a blog that we ran for a while. It was called Blog 30. I don't know if they say this over you, but people say like, oh, it's beer 30, like time to go get a drink. It's like 5 o'clock, kind of a 5 o'clock somewhere thing.
Yeah.
So we called it Blog 30. When we had this blog, we would write, all 3 of us contributing to it. And it was like some sports stuff, mostly just like crazy internet stories, stuff like that. And we did that like pretty strong, like 3 to 5 posts a day for like a year and a half, if not more.
Intense.
Yeah, and then we, it kind of fell off. One by one, everybody kind of fell off it, and we didn't really do anything with it. People we knew thought it was funny. We were kind of, getting just, people we knew were reading it. That was really it. And then, I kind of did, kind of various writing things here and there for different Knicks sources. Did a little bit for those Knicks film school guys with the game diaries and stuff way back, and kind of fell off with that for a little while. It's always just been like little things like that I've never really stuck with one of them specifically. So, after how many months of sitting at home during quarantine, and I work at home anyway, so I'm here all the time regardless of quarantine, and playing games till late at night, till 1 a.m. regardless, I was like, well, I might as well start doing this. And then when it became a lot easier to do via the PS5, I finally just kind of did it. Started out, I think, like a lot of people with no camera, just did that for a few weeks, and then got the camera going through the console with no overlay and stuff like that. And then, I think that's about the time like we kind of ran into each other in somebody's chat along the way, and just kind of started discussing like light streams and stuff like that, and talking light streams, bro. How to get the overlays on through console and whatnot, and then. So I kind of didn't do that for a little while, and I tried the OBS thing, but turns out that doesn't work too well trying to run on a 6-year-old MacBook. That's a hard sell for the hardware. But yeah, man, it's just I just like the aspect of it. That's creative. It's an outlet, and you're constantly tweaking it, and you're constantly seeing a little bit of growth, building this, building that, and just like that little bit of progression is like a game in itself, honestly. Just little achievements and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I've been having fun with it. Switching over to light streams was a great call. No free ads, but go light streams if you're through console. Definitely give it a shot. But yeah, man, I'm just kind of vibing, man, seeing what we can do.
What's the aim with Twitch, or is there one, or is it just see what happens.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I'm not sitting out here like saying, oh, I hope at this time next year, I can, it can be my full-time job or anything like that. I don't, I'm just kind of seeing what happens. I would, love to have a little bit of a secondary income on the side for sure. That'd be awesome. But
For something you'd be
for the
doing
most part,
anyway.
yeah, exactly. And that was the biggest thing. Like, I'm doing this anyway. Why not, mess around with it, and I've kind of done stuff on camera like that before. So we have this super serious fantasy football league that we've had, for going on a decade now. And we do a weekly recap show for our fantasy football league. And I've been kind of involved in that for several years. So we do that on camera, we record it, we send it out to the league every week. So I've had a little bit of experience kind of being on camera and, just being kind of silly, dumb, and playing up things and like that. So it was a easy transition. It wasn't that weird for me to get on camera like that and have people see me. I don't know. That doesn't feel like that big of a deal to me. So I was just decided to have some fun with it, and we'll see what happens.
This explains a lot with the whole TikTok thing.
Yeah.
TikTok's been cool, literally one of the most active people from kind of our community on TikTok. Like, there's easily like a daily post. How are you finding that?
It's hard. It is, because I have not really had one blow up much at all yet. My first couple, I think, did the best. And it's been kind of not really much going off with these. I like coming up with the ideas, because I'll just be sitting around like playing a game or something, and that idea it'll kind of hit you like, oh, that's a TikTok. or I was listening to, I don't know if you saw the one I did recently. I was listening to the Knicks Film School podcast, and the main guy, he was like on a little bit of an emotional rant after like the big win, I think, against the Mavs. And I was like, oh, this sound is perfect to use for a TikTok. So I went through the process of clipping that and whatnot, getting that in there. But it's fun. I like making the videos because I liked Vine back in the day. I don't know if you ever used Vine.
Old school,
Yeah, it was kind of a similar thing. TikTok's definitely a little more advanced, but I put it off getting on there for a long time because honestly, it's probably a younger person's game for the most part, but there's a lot of it that you just kind of got to like raise an eyebrow at. But for the gaming stuff and for just trying to help out with the stream, a little exposure, it's fun. I've had fun with it so far.
What does your wife think?
I'm no thick boy beans on there. that man's a god.
What is the other half that Mrs. Italiano think? Have you been on TikTok? Does she know, or does she see when you're kind of planting the phone and kind of coming in and doing that?
Not really be too aware of that, honestly. It just hasn't really come up. She's not really as much of a social media person anyway. She's kind of more low key, a little bit more off the grid with that stuff. She's not a super current, what's the trend type of person. So she's definitely not on the TikTok grind herself.
So do you wait until
I'll fill her in on it when I have one that goes big.
So do you wait until she's out of the house so you can film them?
For the most part, yeah. And she's not on Twitter either, so she won't see when you post this.
It's so easy to fall into the black hole of TikTok, like the dancing and all that kind of like.
It's crazy how much of
minutes later, and I'm like, what am I watching?
Exactly, it's crazy how much of a time suck it is. I got with Reddit like that for a while, but I got off that. I don't really mess with Reddit too much anymore. But TikTok's bad. TikTok is an addictive one.
When are we going to see Twitter. A TikTok dance from you though?
Shit, I don't know. We might have to set some kind of sub goal for that or something. That might need to be a reward for the viewers. I don't know if I could put that one out there on spec.
Yeah, that definitely needs to be some sort of celebration one.
Yeah, right. 500 followers or something.
Yeah, and then let Twitter decide which TikTok dance you do.
Oh God, that's brutal.
I'm looking forward to it already. Um, so talk to you about the pregame show and your kind of link up with Knicks Film School. How did that come about?
Well, because I was I listened to the podcast for a while. They've been around for a little while now. It's, in my opinion, one of the better Knicks fans podcasts, one of the better Knicks podcasts in general, really.
Yeah.
I think those guys do an awesome job. Macri's awesome. The guys he has on there, they're really thoughtful. They don't just go on there and screaming and belly aching and just being kind of nonsense fan stuff. They put a lot of effort into it. So it's a podcast I've really enjoyed for a while now, and kind of reached out to him at some point. Actually, how did I first get with them? That actually came about through Reddit. Because a couple of the years where the Knicks were really bad, like guaranteed lottery.
There's a lot to choose from.
the Porzingis through Knox years, like that range. People on Reddit would do these like tankathon watches, like a daily post, like what the games were, what the implications were of winning this one or losing this one, where it would put us in the draft order. And so at one point for a couple of years, I was doing that on Reddit. Like I was writing those every day, and putting those out on Reddit. And the Knicks Reddit page, that was a pretty popular post every day. One of those. And then, so I kind of stopped doing it after a couple of years. And one of the Knicks Film School guys, actually reached out to me, found those old posts on Reddit, reached out to me on Twitter, was like, "Hey, I think I'm going to pick these back up on Reddit this season. Like, are you cool with that?" Like, yeah, man, obviously I'm cool with that. I don't have any trademark or copyright on writing tank posts on Reddit, man. So absolutely. So he started doing that. And at that point I was like, "Hey, do you guys, is there anything I could help you guys with? That I could do for you, for the Knicks Film School stuff?" And I think at that point, I started talking to Macri and kind of had the idea to do the running game diaries and stuff like that, because, I kind of like that more fan-sided reaction stuff. Like I like the big stats and stuff like that, but to me personally, it's not that interesting to sit there and like talk about that stuff. Like, well, the defensive efficiency when Quickly's on the floor versus Peyton, like that loses me in podcasts when you're just rattling off numbers and stuff like that. I start to tone that out. So doing those like in the moment kind of reaction pieces that I do for the games are more my speed, and try to balance out the other stuff that they do with something kind of just lighter and trying to be a little more on the funny side than serious.
For the fan that isn't necessarily a stats man, like you can tell when somebody
exactly
when they're better with somebody on the floor to when they aren't. Like you don't need numbers to back that up.
Exactly. Just seeing what Alfred. But yeah. Then to try to transition that to the Twitch side of it, I had this idea to try to do these pregame shows on Twitch. You got NBA 2K right there. You can run a sim of what the Knicks game might look like that night. So, I did the diaries for a while. Let Macri know that I was kind of serious about it, and wasn't just going to do one and disappear on him. And floated the idea over to him, and I'm thankful to him. He liked it. I mean, he's definitely not a Twitch guy or anything like that, but he enjoyed the idea, the thought behind it, and he tries to be helpful with it. Helps me out with the promo, shoots out a retweet here and there. But we're still growing that, man. We're looking for a specific kind of niche of person. We need Knicks or basketball fans who are also Twitch people, because it's kind of hard to pull people that aren't Twitch people onto the platform. I think that's probably the biggest weakness of Twitch, honestly, is that, you really got to have some reach to get people that aren't on Twitch onto Twitch. And, I love to talk myself up as much as the next guy, but I'm not quite there yet. So we're still working on that. We're trying to get the word out there. I try to, do a little video before each time I do it, make it kind of more eye-catching on the timeline, get some people in there. And, I've had some people come over that are Knicks fans that, I didn't have as Twitch followers before, and they'll chat it up for a while. But yeah, still trying to get running on that a little bit, get some consistency, I guess. But yeah, man, it's fun. It's fun to just do something different every now and then. Keep the variety in the stream a little bit.
Yeah. What would you say to those guys that kind of like you, but don't necessarily like sports, and they dropped in? What could they expect?
For the pregame show stuff, or just in general?
No, just like the pregame show specifically, I guess, because I mean, from your streams, it's going to be kind of a lot of personality. But I suppose this one, when you're saying like it's very much centered towards a certain type of person, but if there was somebody that's kind of thinking, well, I'm not really a massive Knicks fan or a basketball fan, what would be in it for them?
Sure. Well, we're playing 2K. So if you have any interest in that, maybe you're not an NBA fan, but you are still a fan of the games, the My Team stuff. Anybody that's into My Team, by all means, come bend my ear about that. Let me know what cards you got. Let me know what you just opened. Let me know what you're working on in the challenges there, for sure. And then, in general, it's not like we're wall to wall, talking Knicks on there or anything. By all means, just come chat it up, say what's up, see if you want to meet anybody in the chat, see if anybody you haven't run into yet, and then maybe you decide, hey, I like this guy's vibe. Let me come back when he's doing Warzone or when he's doing PGA. Hey, the Pasta Posse always has another seat at the table. We'll find some raviolis for you, my man. Don't you worry. Come on back.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think I was in the very first one, and I think we ended up talking football through half of it.
Yeah. Exactly, man.
Just sport in general is something that I guess you're passionate about. Is it mainly basketball, or does it branch out to, obviously, football? You mentioned with the fancy football thing. Are they the main two?
Oh yeah, man. A lot of stuff. I mean, definitely fantasy football. I wouldn't say I have a super big rooting interest in one team for football. So I can, I'll talk about
just whoever's in your fantasy team.
It's mostly who's on my fantasy team, because we take this league seriously. And for the first time, your boy brought home the cup.
Nice.
First time this year. Thank you, Josh Allen. Thank you, Stephon Diggs. We love you. But yeah, football, I'm big Yankees fan, always have been. We're not going to talk about this start of this season yet. We're just going to ride the good Knicks vibes, and we'll see what the Yankees are looking like in July or something.
That's a long tough time.
Start. But yeah, football, basketball, whatever, man. I mean, I like a little Premier League too. So I think I'm got a pretty wide range of interests as far as sports is concerned. So yeah, come chat me up.
Aside from so you said you play golf. Did you play any of the other sports? Do you play basketball?
I tried. We're still figuring it out. I played soccer. I played soccer in high school. And I played actually inline hockey for most of my life growing up, from middle school up into college. I played on a club team for the college I went to, and then rec adult league, beer league after that. Once I was back from school and working and stuff like that. So so that was definitely the sport I played the most, inline hockey, which is kind of an unusual one, because we didn't in Virginia, there was not a lot of ice rinks around, but you could play inline. So we got into that, and me and a couple of my brothers actually played that pretty seriously.
Nice.
Most of our time growing up. So
I think you're literally the first person I've met that's played that. There was a league around here. There was a league around here, and it was one of them where you have a passing interest in hockey, and I'm like, no, there's no way I'm going to pick up a stick and try and do this on wheels. Like, no. We'll stick to NHL on the PlayStation. That'll do.
That's good. Yeah, good call. It's learning how to skate late in life, I think is tough. But if you pick it up early on, it's kind of like riding a bike. Like I still have my skates. I still go skate around the neighborhood and whatnot. I have not played in a couple of years now, really, since we've been down here. I'm not really sure what the inline hockey scene in Georgia is, but I'm sure I could find something if I started looking around, but just haven't gotten back to it yet. We'll stick with golf for now.
Yeah, it's a lot less stressful.
Yeah, maybe.
In theory. Right. So to finish off, I've got 5 Knicks trivia questions. Now,
oh, buddy,
I think I'm confident you'll get at least 4 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
So, first one should be an easy one. Who's
Okay.
the all-time leading point scorer for the Knicks?
All-time leading point scorer. Feels like it's easy, but am I overlooking anybody? I want to. It's got to be Patrick Ewing, right? Just
correct.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Willis. I wasn't sure if maybe I don't think he played long enough. I don't think his apex was quite long enough.
Yeah, I think there's quite a gap between Patrick Ewing and the guy at number 2.
Okay.
But yeah, it's one of those where kind of sometimes it feels, is that too obvious?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, who wore the number 10 jersey before it was retired?
Oh, that's Walt. That's got to be Walt Clyde Frazier, is it not?
It is indeed.
Yeah, baby,
Well
swishing and dishing, posting and toasting.
All right. Of the current Knicks, who wears number 25?
Number 25, Derek. No. Reggie Bullock.
Nice.
Reggie
yes,
Bullock.
Well recovered.
Rose wore 25 his first time around with the Knicks. I actually have a Derrick Rose 25 Knicks jersey, as sad as that is.
Hey, he's looking good so far this season.
Woo!
All right, number 4. So perfect so far. I'll give you some leeway on this one. What is the capacity of Madison Square Garden?
Let's say I've been there. I have seen a few Knicks games in the Garden. Seen LeBron play the Knicks there a couple times. He has a triple-double every time. Oh. Every time he plays the Knicks in the Garden, triple-double. Bet that every time. But I want to say
the guy's unreal.
23,000.
Close. It's just short of 21. So, according to Google, the official capacity for a Knicks game is 20,789.
Okay.
I'd have been very surprised if you got it on the nose. But
yeah, actually, that's 20,789.
Yeah, that was my next guess. All right, last one. So the Knicks last won a playoff series in the 2012-2013 season. Who did they beat?
I believe they beat the Boston Celtics.
They did indeed.
Woo-hoo!
This man knows his stuff.
Hell yeah. You know what's funny? I was actually just thinking about this earlier. The last time the Knicks were good like this is kind of when I was kind of messing with a lot of Vines. And now the Knicks are good again, and I'm messing with a lot of TikTok. So, anytime there's a short video editing app, I just got to get on there and get these Knicks in the playoffs, I think.
Seriously, you are never allowed off TikTok. Even if you're like 45.
Keep going.
Way too old to be on TikTok.
Shake that ass, Italiano.
Just stay on there. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start showing more skin or something on TikTok. Get a couple of these things to blow up. Like I gotta pull down a shoulder or so. I don't know.
Oh, it's all get the abs out. All about the abs. If you're anything like me, you might have to paint them on at the minute. Like lockdown's been tough.
Yeah, we got to get ready for the summer over here. It's already getting nice. Shit.
Yeah, the struggle is real. Oh man, D'Italiano, that has been brilliant fun. Thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely, Glenn. Appreciate it, man. 5E.
Anytime, man. Anytime.